Apple TV dropped the brand new episode 4 for their new crime thriller, The Last Frontier with Jason Clarke and Haley Bennett, as we got a lot more information on this government project that we've been following, as well as kind of a villain of the week storyline. And that's not a knock whatsoever. I actually really like the idea of this show kind of adapting that early 2000s vibe of doing a villain of the week storyline with these escaped convicts, because it's not going to be the classic way of where each episode doesn't really tie into the overall story. As we saw in this week, they're trying to chase down a couple of prisoners, and we find out at the end of the episode that they actually have a much larger role in the grand scheme of things. With Havelock, as we saw in this episode, we learn that a courier has been in Fairbanks before the plane was even crashed, and he is there to bring Archive 6 to Havelock, which Havelock wants to sell it on the black market, which would cause massive chaos for the CIA. Another takeaway that I had from this episode is now that we're past the initial meeting of Sydney and Frank and everything that they went through when they first were getting together in those first couple of episodes, and now that they're really starting to open up to each other, as Sydney kind of revealed a lot of information about her relationship with Havelock that they had in the past and how they got married and everything that happened with them, I'm really liking this relationship that they are building, right? They're not the perfect team. They still kind of, go back and forth and bicker about some things. But this episode was proof that they can work together and work together well. But by far, the biggest takeaway from this episode is everything going on with Frank's wife. And many of us have theorized and talked about whatever was going on with their keychain, specifically the disco ball. They had that close-up shot after she was rescued of her kind of toying with it. And we found in this episode that Havelock actually gave her like what looks like a SIM card or some type of memory drive that is in the disco ball, and that he wants her to give it to Frank. But as she says, she won't give it to Frank because it will put Frank in a deeper hole. He will dive deeper and deeper into whatever is going on, and they just got back from the brink of destruction after the death of their daughter. My final note after this episode, and I haven't really talked about it much this season, is I don't really understand the emphasis on everything going on with Frank's son. I get that it's kind of a major plot point right now and that it can be important because maybe it connects to Havelock down the road, but I'm just not very interested in what is going on with them. I don't think that it plays that big of a role, and I would have been happy if that storyline had been wrapped up this episode or even last episode. Either way, I am really enjoying the show. I'm looking forward to it every single week, but I want to hear from you guys. Let me know your thoughts on The Last Frontier episode 4 in the comments below.